There. Have you ever worked with herbs, whether for your own health or maybe you are a practitioner who uses herbal support in your clinical practice with your clients or patients, and found that you weren't really getting the best results with your herbal support for energy or for mood or for sleep? It just seemed like things didn't really shift the way that you were hoping. Well, you're not alone, and I see this quite a bit, and I want to share with you today how to get the most out of your herbal support. Again, whether you work with clients or you're just here to support your own health, and you find that herbs aren't working for you the way that you were hoping. Stick with me. We're going to talk about how to use herbal support, some of the most common reasons why herbs don't work, and how you can start to use herbs more effectively to support your health. I also want to share with you one mistake I see even experienced practitioners make that can really block healing. So stay with me. I'll share that with you later. So, first of all, let's talk about a little hard truth about using herbs to support your health. Herbs aren't just natural supplements, they're really intelligent allies that work on the mind, body, spirit. And I'll explain what I mean by that here in a few minutes. But as a clinical herbalist and a functional nutrition practitioner, herbs are one of the most transformational tools I have to support my clients. And I find they can really shift the mind, the body, the spirit of the person taking herbs when they're doing it in the right way and with the right herbs. But if we don't know how to really get the most out of herbal support, we may find that our herbal supplements and teas and however we're using herbs isn't really moving the needle in the way that we're hoping it will. So let's talk about why herbs might not be working best for you. There's three common mistakes that I often see, and number one is just people are using the wrong herb for their own unique energetic pattern. And what that means is we all have our own unique energetic patterns. So if you're a person who tends to feel like you're cold a lot, maybe you have hypothyroidism, you're always wrapping up in a blanket, that's a different energetic pattern than a person who always feels kind of warm and overheated, and maybe they're kind of a little red in the face all of the time. There's a more of a heat type of pattern. And so it really informs what herbs will help in order to balance your unique energetic patterns, because herbs have their own energetics as well. Some herbs are cooling, some herbs are warming. And if you take the wrong herb, you can actually feel a lot worse. Way back when I was starting to work with herbs and learning about energetics, I was eating salads for lunch every day because they were just kind of easy and I thought they were healthy. And I was also taking some digestive bitters with my meals, which actually are really cooling energetically on the digestive system. And I would eat that lunch, I would eat my salad, I would take those bitters, and then I would just be sitting at my desk after work, like literally shivering. I was so cold. And it finally dawned on me that I was eating a diet that was very cooling. I was taking herbs that were very cooling, and it was really throwing off my energetic balance because I tend to be a person who has more of that kind of cold pattern showing up in my constitution, in my energetic pattern. So I had to just shift that around, right? Start taking some warming herbs like ginger tea with meals and eating some warm meals like soup and things that really balanced my energetic patterns. And I felt a lot better and I improved my digestion as well. So making sure you're taking the right herb for your energetic patterns and knowing how to assess energetics in the person you're working with, as well as the herbs you're using, is a really critical step to using the right herbs for the right person. But that's not the only mistake you can make when it comes to using herbal support with yourself or with clients. If you're taking an herb in the wrong form or the wrong dose, you probably aren't going to get the best results. And so when I talk about the form of herbs, there are actually a lot of ways we can use herbs, right? We can use them sometimes as food or teas or herbal extracts like tinctures, right? Herbs that have been extracted in an alcohol base. Those are some of the most common ways that I use herbs. And we can use the whole herb as well as like a powder that might be in a capsule form, for instance. And the form that we're using can really impact the efficacy of the herb because some herbs actually really shine as teas, whatever herbal constituents we are wanting to extract from that herb. If it's water soluble, we might actually want to use it as a tea, whereas some herbs we really need to extract in alcohol in order to really get out those herbal medicinal extracts and phytochemistry that actually give us the medicinal properties of an herb. And so that's why I use a lot of tinctures in my practice. And in some cases, capsules, although I don't find that the capsules give the best results as a tincture when it comes to herbs, but it can depend again on the herb, what we're trying to extract from that herb, and the person's digestive system even can play a role here. So it can matter, but also the form as well as the dose is important. And so if we're only taking an herb once a day, that might not be enough to really get the medicinal qualities of that herb on a level that's really going to shift the patterns that we're trying to address in our clients. So, a cup of ginger tea once a day can be great for digestion, but taking that cup of ginger tea 3 or 4 times a day for someone with IBS, for example, can actually really start to shift the terrain of the digestive system and address some of the inflammation, right? So be thinking about, are you taking the herbs in the right form, the right dose? Again, this comes back to really knowing the herbs and how they are best used to get the best results. The other mistake I see, this is a little more broad, but addressing the right problem is important as well. So I often see that from a functional medicine perspective or a holistic perspective, a lot of practitioners are looking at the holistic picture, but they might not be addressing the foundational pieces that are actually driving the patterns that are showing up. So, for example, if you are working with someone who has a hormone imbalance, then you can give them some herbs to support hormones. But if the real issue is that they have blood sugar imbalance and insulin resistance and inflammation driving the hormone imbalance, you really need to address those root causes. And just focusing on the hormones and addressing that piece of it may not be enough to really shift the needle. So make sure you're really treating the right things and working on that foundation. Now, in a minute, I want to show you how to actually figure out which herb your body truly needs. But first, I have one more reason I want to talk about in terms of why herbs don't always work. And this can be kind of thought of as that missing link on how to use herbs effectively, because it really is about the pattern that is showing up in the person we're working with. And we're working on rebalancing that pattern, right? Not just treating a symptom. And this is what I teach as a holistic and functional approach to herbalism, which means we identify the underlying imbalance, and that can be both physical and emotional and spiritual. And then we match the right herb in the right form and the right dose. We're using herbs consistently, we're using them throughout the day in rhythm with our own body. And again, most importantly, we don't separate the body from the mind and the spirit because herbs have a very unique way of balancing the mind, body, and spirit that's really beautiful. Now, I promised you as well that I would share a mistake that I see many practitioners using, and that is thinking of herbs like medications, right? This kind of one and done type of approach where we're using herbs to treat symptoms, maybe just taking that herbal supplement in the morning before we run out the door. And instead, we're not really thinking about restoring the underlying balance and shifting the patterns that are showing up. And when used right, herbs can become rituals of healing. Where we're connecting to the mind, the body, the nervous system, the cycles of our day. And when we think of it from that perspective and we use our throughout the day in the right doses, in the right forms, that's where you're going to really see a shift in the underlying patterns that are driving dysfunction in you or your clients if you work with clients. If this resonates with you, I want to share with you a way that you can learn a little bit more about using herbs from a functional medicine framework. And I have a free guide called my Herbal Medicine Matrix that you can grab below. It's designed for practitioners and passionate wellness seekers who want to use herbs for true, lasting healing. So make sure you grab that below, and I will see you next.